Alright, Nintendo, I'ma be real. This shit's gotta go, man. The Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase happened this morning, and I don't normally care for these type of directs, but this is for the Switch too, man, and there are so many third-party games that could get ported to this thing. And then I remembered that all of these games are probably going to be on game key cards, and then I got depressed. And after watching the Direct, bruh, come on! Sparking Zero, game key card. Persona 3, game key card. Even f***ing Pac-Man is a key card. They're seriously calling this the Game Keycard Direct, bro. You cannot make this up. When these cards were first revealed, I knew it was going to be bad, but I wasn't expecting pretty much every third-party game to be on one of these things. Now, to the casual eye, it might seem a little weird that people are complaining about this. Having to insert a game and download it is nothing new to most people. But between PS5 games and Switch 2 keycard games, there's a key difference. Oh, fucking hell. With most PS5 games, the data is almost always stored entirely on the disc, and the console copies the data from the disc to your SSD for the game to run. With keycards, there is nothing on these cartridges other than a license for you to download the game from the internet. So when the servers inevitably go offline years down the line, these cartridges will be rendered useless. It's terrible for game preservation. It sucks even more when you learn that newer PS5 and Xbox Series X games now require extra data to be downloaded from the internet. Bro, like, why? Even from a game collector's perspective, I absolutely love having all of my games lined up on a shelf. It just looks cool. But coolness also comes from the fact that I know that I actually own all of these games and their data. With keycards, it kinda just feels like I'm buying an empty box for no reason. Seriously, like outside of collecting, what is the appeal of buying a keycard over just downloading the game digitally? I mean, sure, the keycards are tradable and you can easily lend them to a friend, but bro, I would rather trade an actual physical game. And not everybody has high-speed internet to download these games, especially with some of those file sizes, like Jesus Christ. I always thought the main appeal of buying a Switch game physically was to save space on your console, because they didn't give you much internal storage to work with, and even with the Switch 2, there's still not much there. So like, I'm just really having a hard time seeing an advantage to having a game on a keycard, as opposed to an actual cartridge. Well, it turns out that it's simply cheaper to produce. Game keycards only have a few megabytes of storage on them, and that's all you need to slap a license on there. And it's also heavily rumored that Nintendo is only offering 64GB cartridges to third-party publishers, and those cartridges are way more expensive than keycards. So if this is the case, honestly, I can't really blame publishers for opting for game keycards, because Nintendo isn't giving them many other options. That kind of explains why these games are still showing up on Switch 1 with a normal cartridge. It's because Nintendo is offering many different sizes for Switch 1. It's just kind of weird to me how they're not doing that with Switch 2 though. Like, what? That makes no sense. It's also even weirder when you consider that all first-party Nintendo games have been released on a regular cartridge. Outside of patches, no download is needed to play these games. So clearly Nintendo values game preservation over cheaply distributing their games. So what's the point of even having keycards? Just give third-party smaller card sizes. And if the game is bigger than 64GB, then I think it would be necessary to download extra data from the internet. Also, just kind of unrelated, I think that it's pretty weird how even with keycards being a thing, some games have still opted for the download code in a box method, which is even worse than a keycard, honestly. And some third parties care too. I have to applaud CD Projekt Red for making sure that Cyberpunk was fully put on a 64GB card. And they've also made sure to do the same for both PlayStation and Xbox. I wish more publishers cared as much about game preservation as they do. But it's also weird because some third-party publishers are releasing full physical games as well as keycard ones, like Sega. Sonic X Shadow Generations was released as a game keycard with no upgrade path from Switch 1, mind you, but that's a whole other can of worms. They also did this with Puyo Puyo Tetris, Yakuza, and even newer releases like Persona 3 Reload. But with Sonic Racing Crossworlds, they've opted to make it a Switch 2 edition game with an upgrade path. No keycard in sight. I guess this is probably due to the fact that Crossworlds is such a large game, to the point where they might as well put it on a 64GB cartridge, but the Switch 2 version also isn't dropping until next year, so maybe that's when Nintendo is giving third parties more size options? I don't know, man. I really fucking don't. I think MVG put it best in one of his videos. These aren't physical games. They're physical products. The only people they benefit are the publishers, as they don't have to spend as much money as they would if they had to put the entire game on a physical disc or cartridge. So if Nintendo really wants to push game preservation, because again, I think there are signs that they do, I think the game keycard concept should just be ditched altogether. I just don't see any reason to keep these things alive other than publishers saving a little bit of cash. But yeah, that's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.